Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Talkin' Rangers podcast. Today is Tuesday, October 31st. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. We're at it with another podcast today. I'm Blair, also known as Bubbs, alongside Joe. Joe, how's it going, man? Great time to be a Ranger fan. They are red hot and playing like one of the best teams in the NHL, coming off their first road trip in franchise history where they swept it. Road trip consisting of at least 5 games. How's it going?
Yeah, it's been good, man. I mean, the Rangers are just
Dominating.
it can't believe how this team was at the end of last year, even at the beginning of the year last year. Like, they had a little bit of a good start, and then kind of everything went downhill up until that like Trouba helmet throw. But completely different team. Like, it's pretty much the same team, but the way this team is playing gives you a lot of confidence. How like the adjustments that they're making with the coaching staff. It seems like this year could be like. This could be the year that I think that I feel like a lot of teams are down on the Rangers early in the season, like kind of overlooking them. But if Igor could play good, like I think this team could honestly win the Stanley Cup just based off of the coaching and how they're playing.
Yeah, no doubt. And even when you look at the preseason, there was like some struggles, and it seems like right now Lavalette has kind of caught lightning in a bottle with this roster where everything's connecting, the new system's working. They're much better on the defensive end. You know, they're scoring in big spots. They're much better in front, as I just mentioned, in front of, their goalie in the defensive end. They're not requiring, Igor and even Quick. Those guys are the quick to, get the shutout against Edmonton, which we'll get to in a second. They're not requiring those guys to like save them in games like they have in past years where you needed to, rely on Igor making all these crazy stops. They've been able to put up points and 7-2-0 atop the Metro. They have won 5 straight games all on the road trip. What was your overall thoughts on this road trip? Obviously beating Edmonton, Canucks, and the Jets to wrap things up last night against the Jets. What were your overall thoughts in these last 3 games before we break them down individually?
Pretty much the special teams was unbelievable. Like, I think they only gave 1 power play goal.
Yeah.
And they must have scored like at least 5 from what I can remember. Like at least 1 a game that they were scoring. It was ridiculous. And Artemi Panarin has been like unreal this year. And like, it's crazy because at the beginning of the season, at least I was saying like, I was concerned with him. Another bad playoff by him. I didn't think he was going to get 80 points. Now it looks like he might get like 120. So we'll see. But he's playing unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm happy. I was this close to getting him in fantasy hockey, and the guy in front of me picked him. And now I'm going up against Panarin. I'm glad he scored a goal last night, but it does affect me in fantasy. But my gosh, I mean, we'll start with Panarin before we even get into the other games because he is on an absolute tear right now. I mean, his numbers rank up there right now as one of the best wingers in hockey. 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points. The assists and goals both lead the team. He's tied for 4th in the NHL in assists. He's tied for 2nd in the NHL in points with 15. We are 9 games into the regular season, and Panarin has put up at least 1 point in every single game. He has been remarkable. What has been your biggest, we've talked about, obviously, he's had a lot more of a shot-first mentality. You got to give the coaching staff a lot of credit. But what has been some of the biggest improvements you've seen in Panarin's game where he's just come out of the gate on fire?
It's just like, honestly, what you're saying, like, that's a big thing. Him shooting the puck is, like, he hasn't done this ever. Like, he was always, like, swaying off to the side, curling back when he got into the zone, looking for a trailer. Now he's playing, like, him going north-south hockey is just great for his game. Like, he becomes such a dynamic player when the other teams don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to pass? Is he going to shoot? He's just playing, like, more north-south. He's shooting more. He's more aggressive on pucks. He's, like, playing more of a stronger game along the boards. Kind of, a lot of the times, I feel like the last couple of years, he was kind of get bumped off. He's a little bit soft. He's just playing aggressive. It looks like he's like a man on a mission, and he could have a monster season. Like, and I don't know. Maybe it's the hair. I think it could be the hair. Could be the hair.
It's like taking off some weight from him, and now he's just skating much faster. The north-south game is great, as you mentioned. You look at the numbers. I mean, again, he's already got 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points, like we mentioned. His career high in goals was the first season with the Rangers when he put up 32. His career high he's had in points was 98, also in that first season with the Rangers, or 95 rather, also in that first. Well, 96. I believe.
I think the following year he had 96.
Yeah, 96. Right? Was it 96 the following year?
I think he had 96 the year they went to the conference final.
Yeah, the conference final.
First year he had like
95.
95, but like, again with COVID, he easily got 100.
Yeah, because then they went into the bubble and all that stuff. Do you see him surpassing his career high in goals, and do you see him surpassing 100 points?
Yeah,
Because
he's
right
gonna
now he's on fire. He's definitely
he's gonna
getting
score
that
40
40.
goals this year. I
Yeah.
100%. But the way he's shooting the puck, because he's got such an accurate shot, he's gonna score 40. I think he's gonna go like 40, 75. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna be around like 115,
Yeah,
120.
he has just been unbelievable. The shot first mentality is great. And we've been saying this with Panarin for a while now. You know, postseason, we've been saying it, shoot, shoot, shoot. And you got to give a lot of credit because I think out of everything, and I guess you can probably give your take on this as well if you've seen any other big impacts with some other players as well. I think Panarin has probably benefited the most from this new coaching staff kind of instilling that shot first mentality. Do you agree? Like, I think we've seen the most improvement from him with this new staff in, him shooting the puck a lot more and producing at such a high level.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the not only is the different coaching style, I think is helping
Yeah.
him, but the way that they're running the lines, I think is helping him. They're
Yeah.
getting him out a lot because he's playing good. And I think that something that Gallant didn't do good was he just rolled the lines no matter what. I think getting your best player and your hot players on the ice and get him keep going, and spotting him in on the third line, which I think he did a little yesterday. I think he took a couple
Yeah.
of Coley shifts. Just keep getting him out. Like that's what I like about Lavalette is he sees a guy playing well, and you just keep putting him out there. I mean, the way he's shooting the puck, he's passing the puck. I'm really impressed by Panarin, and I think that a lot of people are starting to realize that, like, hey, I mean, I know 11 and a half or whatever he's making, it's a lot of money, but he's definitely proven that he's worth that.
Yeah, he's living up to it right now. I mean, he's been phenomenal. The haircut's great. I didn't know the haircut would be this good, but it's impacted him in such a big way. So moving on from just the individual player here, moving on to the first game that we'll break down to, that was the Rangers Oilers. Jonathan Quick gets his second start as a Ranger, and coming out of this game, Jonathan Quick's winning the Vezina Trophy. Shuts out the Oilers. 29 shots against, sided all of them 29 for 29, dominant for Quick. Looked a lot like vintage Jonathan Quick. Again, the younger Ranger fan inside of you never thought that you'd be rooting for Jonathan Quick, but here we are. What was your thoughts of performance on him? A nice bounce, or I guess I should say a nice performance to build on from that Kraken game he had in the two previous games with when the lights were out.
Yeah, I mean, for Quick, I've been impressed by his positioning. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
he has been getting into good spots. When he's like faced pressure, like I feel like him going side to side and kind of like predicting where the pass or whether it's going to be a shot. It seems like he's always in a good spot to make a save, and it seems like he's not letting up a lot of rebounds. And credit to the defense in front of him and the defensive coach Phil Housley. I think they've all done a great job of blocking shots, limiting shot attempts. So I feel like he hasn't really had to be like all world, but again, like he's been making the saves when he needs to, and like at a backup goal for a backup goalie, that's really
Yeah.
all you could ask for. So
Yeah, exactly. We've gotten a lot much better production from the backup goalie earlier because last year it was a rough start. So that was really good to see getting the shutout. If he could continue to do this, look, we're not expecting shutouts every game, but he could continue to make the saves he needs to make. They play good in front of him, put up points, put up goals, and make things easier for him. That's huge. All three of the New York Ranger goals in this game came in the second period. One was on the power play. That was the first one, Adam Fox. And then you had two other goals, Braden Schneider and Lafreniere also had a goal in this game. What were your thoughts on those three?
I mean, it was all I feel like good plays. I know the Fox one I believe was a backdoor pass. Was it on the power play? I think it was a one timer.
Yeah,
Kind of beat
yeah, it was
Stewart across.
power play.
That was a
It
good
went,
shot. The Schneider play was a nice play by him, joining the rush and ripping that shot over the Stewart's shoulder. And then again, like Panarin making a good play on the Lafreniere goal, cross crease, and Lafreniere one timer beat Stewart to the side of the net. So all good goals. Again, just if they continue to play like this, I can't see them not finishing at the worst a second in the Metro. I mean, just
yeah,
you're getting production from all these guys. Like I said, Schneider, he scored. He's been looking pretty good.
yeah,
They're getting production. I feel like a lot out of their defense, which is nice because I think
yeah,
it kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off of the guys like Zibanejad and Kreider. If you can get a lot of
yeah.
production out of the defense, but in this game, like two goals from defensemen, that's huge.
Yeah, and Schneider, I think he's definitely picked up his play. The first like 2-3 games, I thought he looked a little shaky, but I feel like he's definitely been a lot better. It seems he's kind of starting to ease into things now, and he's obviously picking up the first goal of the season in this one. Lafreniere has put up 4 goals. What are your thoughts on him? I thought, last night he's had a lot of couple really good chances. I think he could even have maybe even upwards like 6 goals right now. He's had a couple really good chances last night. I believe, if I recall, he had the one breakaway opportunity. What have been your thoughts overall on Lafreniere? Obviously, putting a goal in this game as well. I've been impressed with all the kids. We talk about a lot in these episodes, but I think all of them have been pretty impressive early on.
He honestly seems a little snake bit, like points wise. Like he's playing
Yeah,
good. He's playing pretty
feeling
good,
good. Yeah,
and
he could have a
he
lot more.
he makes a lot of plays where sometimes it ends up like Panarin scores, but then he would get the third assist on the play,
Yeah,
or he makes a nice play to create the turnover, and like seems like he's not getting the points, but like it seems like he's making the play. So I think eventually
yeah,
you'll start seeing him getting more assists, and he's also getting a lot of scoring chances. I feel like he had that one move, I think it was the Oilers, where he made that nice, like he was cutting to the outside, and then he came back inside. Guy like fell down, and then he went
yeah.
and tried to backhand it over Stewart. But he's making a lot of nice plays. He's getting a lot of shots on net. I've been really impressed by him. I think he could go 30-30.
Yeah, he's a guy like you mentioned being snake bait. As I said, there's easily 2-3 goals that he's probably just gone unlucky with, where he could easily have 6-7 goals right now, especially with the points and the assists and stuff too. But like, because he's had a lot of opportunities to set up scoring chances, and I don't even believe he's logged an assist this year yet. The eye test though, he's passed it. Like he's been really good. You watch him play, he's out there, his presence is there, and that's big because I think in past years we've seen Lafreniere. It's like you don't even know he's on the ice. Seeing his impact there is huge. Definitely has been a lot better than past years. Rangers are 1-for-3 on the power play. They've been dominant on the power play this season, and they also were solid on the penalty kill as well. So not much to complain about. It was a 3-0 shutout. You like the goaltending, got the points across in the second period, and they came away with the victory. You go on to the second game against the Canucks, where the Rangers get the first of back-to-back overtime wins. What were your thoughts in this game?
I mean, I didn't think they were bad in the Canucks game, but it seemed like they started out like a little slow. Then they kind of started coming on a little, and then the Canucks came back a little.
Yeah.
I believe this is the game that had felt like 30 penalties in it, right?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous of how many penalties were in that game. Felt like in the third period. Like another thing for talking about like Lafreniere is him, Kako, Hedl. It kind of hurts them a little when you see all these penalties because they don't play the special teams. But the Rangers special teams has been unbelievable this year, and I think they scored. Did they score 3 or 2 power play goals in that game? I know they scored the 5-on-3. I think they scored 3, right?
Yeah, because it was Panarin, Fox, and then Mika had the one.
They scored two 5-on-3 goals, and then Zibanejad scored the 5-on-4 goal right after, right?
And then Zibanejad almost had a really big game because he almost had that tip in by Kreider hit the post, and then Zibanejad had the one that hit the post, and then the other one he had a tip or passed it to Kreider. Kreider tipped it, went off the post. So the Rangers easily could have like 5-6 goals in this game. But to your point, yeah, the Rangers were 3 for 6 on the power play, and the Canucks were 1 for 6. So 12 total power plays. There was a ton of penalties, just a ton of not really a smooth game, I would say. But in this one for sure. So yeah, what were your thoughts on this power play? Because it was really good. I mean, the power play all season's been really good.
Yeah, I mean
this Ranger team.
The power play. I mean, even with Zibanejad struggling somewhat, where it seems like he's not really on his timing's off on that one timer. I don't know if you know, if you notice, he's kind of just trying to aim
missing
it.
the net a lot.
Yeah, he's not trying to just winding back and trying to just crush it. He's kind of aiming it, which is taking a little off of it, which I think is easier to save. But he's still contributing as a playmaker. And then Chris Kreider is unbelievable. I can't say anything. It's ridiculous how he tips these pucks in. They went away from that last year, which was another thing where I was pissed off. 2 years ago when he scored the 54 goals, it was tip in, tip in, tip in. And then they just went away from that completely, and it's ridiculous because he's so good, and that's such a weapon that no other team has.
I feel like it's a guarantee that he's gonna get a tip-in goal every time you're on the power play. Just look for Kreider. Look for Kreider all the time.
And they have Panarin and Fox who are unbelievable at those passes too.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
No doubt. Yeah, some of those passes. I mean, even like I said, the one to Mika that just missed the pass to Kreider, and this was awesome. But again, that's even too just the more that mentality of that playing north-south game, that putting pressure on net. A lot of times I thought, again, last year, like why Kreider didn't have a ton of those tipping chances was they weren't putting as many pucks close to the net. You shoot the puck, you get it close to the net, you're going to be able to score. There's traffic in front, deflections, all that stuff, and that's what Kreider's been so good at. That's a big reason the power plays been really good. It's been really solid as a penalty kill. What has been your thoughts on this PK unit this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable. I know they gave up a couple goals, but to start the season,
one this game.
I think they gave up one in that road trip. That was that game against the Vancouver Canucks. I believe Miller tipped one in. But I think they're 10th in the league in penalty kill. That's pretty good so far. And I think they're second in the league in power play. Like, the special teams has been ridiculous.
Yeah, the power play has been unbelievable. It's been so. Whatever, like we talk about the power. What has been like your thoughts overall on like the 5-on-5 play? Do you feel like you need to see maybe a little bit more on 5-on-5 from this team still? I mean, I think it's been solid. I mean, they're on the power play so much. I mean, again, this team, they were on the power play 6 times, but what has been your thoughts on 5v5? Because power play has been talked about a lot, but
I don't know how many goals they have on the 5-on-5 that isn't the Panarin line. Like, I was thinking about this yesterday. The fourth line hasn't scored, I think. Well, at least one of those guys. I think they were on for 1 goal, but it was a defenseman who scored. I believe Schneider scored when VZ was on.
I think VZ's the only one that's logged points on that bottom line.
Yeah, but so like I don't think any of them have scored. They were on for 1 goal. The Coley line is only on for that 1 goal. They should have been on for 2. Like that against the Oilers, that should have counted. That was crazy. That was called back. And I don't know how many goals. Like Zibanejad's lines maybe scored 2 goals, so that's like maybe 4 goals outside of the Panarin line. So on the 5-on-5, like they're not playing terrible, but it's a little frustrating that I don't think the first line, the Panarin line or the Zibanejad line, has really been great 5-on-5 offensively. At least I think they've been solid defensively, but they got to get guys like Kakko going. It seems like Kakko. He's not playing bad, but he's not really contributing, which is a little frustrating.
He's had some chances. He's had some chances. I mean, he's had a couple good looks that he's missed. I think Lafreniere has been a lot better than him. I think he's been a lot more noticeable. I want to see more from Kakko. I mean, if we're being honest, that entire first line out again, Kreider on the power play has been great. But even with Mika scoring the game winner, we also need to see more out of Mika from last night. Even with that game winner. The first line as a whole, I mean, you kind of nail it on the head. The second line's been great. I do need to see more out of Kakko. Been happy with Lafreniere. I feel like Kakko has missed a couple really good chances. Like if I recall, it might have been the last episode. I don't think it was these set of 3 games, but if I recall, he's had like 1 or 2 chances where open net opportunities and he's just whiffed. He's just missed
the breakaway.
He had the breakaway
last night, right?
Yeah, him and the breakaway he missed. Yeah, him and Lav. Yeah, exactly. He's had chances. Like he's got to bury, especially last night. You got to take advantage of those chances. So
I feel like Kreider has been like we're kind of like giving him the praise. Like when he plays good, we'll give him praise. But 5-on-5, I don't think he's been horrible, but he's not been good.
He's mostly present in power play.
Yeah, he's a power play. And he's good. He's good penalty killer too. I'll give him that credit.
Yeah.
Too. He's a good penalty killer.
Yeah, he's a good penalty killer, but he doesn't have a ton of speed, and like his puck handling isn't like phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't trust him. I don't really trust him in space because like we were talking about putting him maybe on at the beginning of the season on the right side, but he's not very good with the puck. Yeah. So
I do feel like though, just going back to like Kakko, like it seems like he's right there to breaking out. Like he's had chances. It's not like, and maybe I take back a little bit what I said because he's been noticeable. He's had chances, he's had opportunities, but it's got to come to a point where you got to bury him. You want to develop, you want to turn into a really solid piece for us. Play at a high level on the first line. Those have got to go in. You can't have breakaways where you miss. You can't have open nets where you miss. I mean, gives me Ryan Strome flashbacks with those open net misses. I'm not comparing to Ryan Strome. I'm just saying we know as Ranger fans what that's like. That can't happen. So, one other kid I want to talk about. What has been your thoughts on Cooley before we head to last night's game? I've been happy with him. What has been your thoughts on Cooley?
I think he's been solid. I mean, he's kind of creating chances. Seems like he's got some good speed to him. He seems like a decent skater. He's making some plays. A couple times he's turned the puck over, but you know what? He's not so noticeable where like either way, like good or bad, which is fine. There are some plays where I thought he's made some nice plays, like where I can't remember what game it was, but I can recall him he cut to the net and kind of got taken down. I don't know if you remember that. I don't remember which game it was, but
yeah, I'm not too. I've been not too sure about that or that specific play, but I have been impressed with some of his forechecking. I think he's been. What about you?
Yeah,
Like, I think he's been pretty solid forechecker so far for us. Again, kind of a guy that can do a little bit offensively, a little bit defensively, but again, like he's young. He's
for
still
sure.
kind of developing, so he's gonna have some of those growing pains. But I think overall, for the first couple weeks of his like a full season for him, I think it's been pretty solid.
Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah, he's it's first year, and I think he's holding his own out there. So I kind of like what I see out of him.
yeah, no doubt, I agree. So moving on to last night's game, where it was a little bit ugly. They had a lot of turnovers in the neutral zone. It was at times playing a little bit more, felt east-west more than north-south with the neutral zone turnovers. The Jets had a lot of opportunities, and they were able to come away with the victory, 5-0 on the road trip. First road trip series sweep, as I mentioned, in franchise history of a road trip that is at least consisting of 5 games. And this was another OT win. So that is back-to-back overtime wins. And it was Mika this time. What was your thoughts on that game winner? It was Keandre Miller in the game prior. Mika got the job done last night. What were your thoughts on that game winner?
I feel like the game as a whole, they played well. I feel like for
Yeah,
most of this game, I thought they were pretty good. I mean, I thought both the goaltenders were good. I thought they did well in the power play. I know that they scored a
yeah,
goal.
1 for 3.
I don't know. I thought it was a good game. Like it wasn't anything like crazy where like I thought they played bad and they got the win or like it just seemed like a solid game for them. Um, Again, there was a couple of missed chances like with those 2 breakaways by the
Yeah,
kids. Panarin had a couple chances to score. Really nice goal by the way. Like I mean, Trouba. Like I can't say this enough. He's been very good for the Rangers this year. Hasn't getting caught. Hasn't taken any bad penalties. Blocking shots. He's been joining the team offensively. I think he's got at least 4 or 5 points now. Unbelievable pass to Panarin on that backdoor goal. A great shot pass.
yeah,
Like I've been really impressed by Trouba. That was a good start to the game. You get that goal.
mm-hmm.
I believe the second goal was that the Kreider tip in? It was
It was
3-2.
it was Fox. I think the power play, or well, it was the Kreider. I think they ended up crediting Kreider, right?
Yeah, Kreider tipped.
Yeah, on the
So
power play. Yeah,
those power play is good. Moving the puck around.
yeah,
They got that goal. I mean, Kreider's like unstoppable. The turnover on the first goal, I think Wheeler kind of gave up on that rush. Got shot off Shesterkin's glove or over his glove. Could have been saved. Again, the second goal that they gave up, I think Wheeler scored. It
yeah.
was another
Wheeler
bad
scored.
turnover. You like to see Igor stop that and like wrap around through the legs, but
Yeah, it seemed like the net front defense there kind of just like gave up because he went behind the net and he just got him right through the 5 hole. It just seemed like defensively they were a little unorganized and kind of out of whack there. But yeah, again, as you mentioned, the power play was really solid. The Kreider tipping who's at it again with those those tippings on the power play. But yeah, another power play goal was, again, we talked about, they had 23 block shots defensive. They were in front of them, was solid. What was your thoughts on that penalty late on the Rangers, where it seemed like he might have slipped, but again, they're probably going to call it. And I was really happy with the way they played on 4-on-3. Again, defense in front of Igor was great in that overtime period.
yeah, I mean, like obviously, like in that situation of the game, it's kind of like a foregone conclusion that's gonna go to overtime. I guess they could have scored. There was still like 18 seconds left, but
Yeah, it was quick.
I think he did just fall down, But like at the end of the day, like these guys are gonna make mistakes. Like they're not perfect. Again, it kind of sucks on the timing of the penalty. I mean, but at the end of the day, the Rangers again have been relying on the special teams when they need to. They killed off the rest of that 5-on-4 at the end of the period, killed off the 4-on-3 in overtime, and ended up winning that game. So I mean, we're not gonna really talk about that. I feel like, I mean, if it was the other way around, I feel like a lot of people probably would keep talking about like, oh, like they kind of got screwed. That shouldn't have been a penalty, but they didn't give up a goal, ended up winning that game. So I can kind of overlook that. So yeah,
Yeah, and I was really, again, satisfied with their PK and their special teams that continue to step up. And this is a good, solid, like kind of underrated Jets team. I mean, I think they've already they've got 10 points, I think, so far this season. They're 4-3-2. So last night they were going in 4-3-1. They're like a good, underrated, solid team. They've got some pieces. So a good win there from Wheeler. in his return. What was I thought again? Wheeler still hasn't logged a point, but do you feel he's maybe getting a little bit better, or do you still have some concerns? Because I thought that Canucks game was his best game as a Ranger. Didn't log points, but he had the one good penalty that he took, stopped the goal, and then he had, I think, one or two good chances that I remember. He was getting a little bit of pressure on that. Like, he was good. I thought that was his most impactful game. Not in the stat sheet, but what have been your thoughts on Wheeler the last couple games?
I mean, like, a little harsh on him, I'd say early
Yeah.
in the season, but I mean, he's a veteran. So, I mean, I think he probably is going to be a good presence in the locker room. I think that he hasn't been like horrible, like turning the puck over, getting caught, not back checking. It seems like he's back checking, he's trying, he's working hard. Just seems a little slow. Hoping that maybe as the season progresses, he starts to get better. Maybe he eventually starts scoring or gets some like getting on the board more. But I think he's been getting a little bit better. But we'll see as the season gets more into the year. As I don't know. I feel like as of right now, I could see them just holding on to him about like halfway through the season, depending on whether they want to call someone up like a Offman or go for like a trade route during the deadline. But I think he's been okay. I think that the third line is fine for him. If he was playing on the top six, maybe it'd be a different conversation. But I think it's been okay.
Yeah, I think he seems to be maybe getting a little bit better, but you still like to see him, bury one in the back of the net and pick up some points here. But one other guy I wanted to talk about was Nick Bonino. Face-offs have been solid. He's had a couple really nice block shots. I mean, he blocks a lot. I've been pretty impressed with Bonino on that fourth line center.
Yeah, I mean the fourth line has been again they're not scoring, which that's not their role on the team. They've been good defensively. When you need them to go out there and throw some hits, get on the forecheck, block shots, they're doing that.
Yeah.
Bonino, I believe, is like 5th or 6th in the league in faceoffs.
Yeah, he's been really good. He had a really good night last night too.
Third. I think they're 3rd in the league, which is ridiculous. And I think Trocheck's like 2nd in the league. Which is crazy. Like the Rangers are never good at faceoffs.
No, never this good.
Yeah, no. Bonino, like I was a little like not like concerned about him when they brought him in, but I was like, I don't know, he's kind of old. Is he going to be able to sustain a role on that fourth line? Is he going to be like a scratch every other game? But it seems like he's a guy that they could definitely use on that fourth line as a center, especially with his face-off abilities. Has been really good. So I've been impressed. I think he's been a good fourth line guy.
Yeah, I've been really impressed too. And again, just the face-offs. I mean, again, with this team last night at a 55.9% face-off win rate percentage, they won 33 overall. They've been so good. Another thing that Lavalette has come in here and installed in this team, and you've seen make a huge impact early on, and has been a big reason why we are where we are. So overall here, the next couple games for the New York Rangers as we wrap things up, they will face the Carolina Hurricanes on Thursday, so they'll get 2 days off today and tomorrow, and then they'll be back on the road for one game against the Wild, and then they'll be back home against the Red Wings, who have been one of the really good surprise teams in the NHL so far this season. That Carolina game, obviously big, Metropolitan in division matchup. Looking forward to that one at MSG. We'll start with that. What are your thoughts going to that game? We'd love to go in the MSG. Crowd's going to be rocking. 5-game win streak. Back home for a first time and feels like forever. What are your thoughts going into that one?
Yeah, I mean, like, it might be a little concerning how I feel like a lot of times teams coming off of these road trips, coming home, I feel like either they start out slow, might lose the game, or they come out fast with all like the energy and then they kind of fade off as the game goes on. But it should be nice to kind of finally get a home game after those 5 games. Again, it's going to be it's early in the season to say big game, but I mean any game against a team that you're going to be in the running for in the playoff standings against the Hurricanes is going to be a big game. So it'd be a good game if they could go out there, play hard, and get those 2 points against the Hurricanes, who have been off to a little bit of a slow start, but they're a good team.
Yeah, they have been. It's been interesting. Even like, Sebastian Aho hasn't quite been off to either the start that I think many expected him to get off to early on in the season. Would be a really nice, win against a team that we've talked about a lot. I think we match up much better against them. And with the way we've been playing, you feel good about them. And then even just the Minnesota-Detroit game, are you like believers in Detroit? I mean, I know they've started to slow down a little bit here. They've lost 3 of their last 4, even though they beat the Isles last night on a comeback win. You believe in the Red Wings, or do you think this is kind of just a hot start?
I think it could be a combination of both. Like, they're a good team, but still have to prove a lot. Like, again, teams can come off the first 10, 15 games in the season and be really good and kind of fade off and end up not doing anything. But they have a young team. I can see them contending for a wild card spot. I don't think they're going to be like in the top of those standings. So,
yeah, I tend to agree too. So we'll see what the Rangers do. They'll face off Hurricanes, Wild on the road, back home against the Red Wings, and we'll have another video recapping those 3 games. So good opportunity for the Rangers here to head back home 2 of their next 3 at MSG. Good opportunity for them to hopefully continue this win streak. One question, and then some of your closing thoughts as well. I'll go first. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say they make this 8 straight, and we're talking about a continued win streak. Next time we're doing an episode, are they still on this win streak?
I don't think so. I think they're going to lose the game. I mean, like,
yeah, I can see that Carolina game being.
They haven't been like dominating, where like they're blowing teams out. It's been tight games. I feel like eventually, whether they play good or not, I feel like a call, a deflection, a goal is going to go the other team's way, and like that's fine. Like they're not going to go. What are they? 7-2, I believe. They're not going to go 80-2. So they're going to lose some games. It's a long season. You know, my thing is just continue to play good, continue to stay healthy, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, health's the biggest thing. You know, these early season games are obviously important to get off to a quick start, but the biggest thing is down the road, postseason, all that good stuff. So that'll do it for episode 5 of the Talking Rangers podcast. We'll be back next week recapping, as I mentioned, Carolina, Minnesota, and Detroit. And we'll have a lot more content coming your way the rest of the season. As always, hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Thanks for watching.